Hey everyone, welcome into this federal benefits webinar. We're excited to have you here today. Today we're going to be talking about mental health and whether or not it can qualify for federal disability retirement. This is a big question that we're getting more and more these days with, just everything happening in the world after the COVID-19 pandemic. There's a lot more pressure at work. There's lots more going on in the world. So this is a very relevant topic that's not so cut and dry as a physical disability. So we're going to be talking about that. I've got two great people here to discuss that today. Caitlin Elliott is a consultation specialist here at Harris Federal, as well as Kimberly Baer, who's our Director of Case Processing, as well as a certified federal retirement consultant. These are two great people that walk federal employees through this every day. They've seen just about every situation in every agency and know how to process these types of claims through those. So excited for you to hear from them. A quick disclaimer here. We want to make sure you understand this is not legal advice. We put these out as educational materials just for you to understand your benefits more and how to make educated decisions about your future. Also, before we get started, I want you to look in the bottom right corner of your screen there. You will see a chat box where you can ask questions, and we have team members here live ready to answer those questions. We get a lot in every webinar, and so we will get to those as quickly as we can. If we can't get to yours, make sure you give our office a call and schedule a one-on-one consultation so that we can walk you through all of your options based on your situation. So without further ado, we've got a lot of information to cover, so let's get to it, guys. Caitlin, Kimberly, let's get started.
Thanks so much for having us, Nick. We're really excited to talk about this topic today. My name is Kimberly Baer. I'm the Director of Case Processing, and here with me today I have Caitlin Elliott. She's our consultation specialist. Today we're going to be talking about mental health and how it can qualify you for federal disability retirement.
Thanks, Kimberly. As Kimberly said, I'm a consultation specialist here at Harris Federal. Talk to employees every day about disability retirement and if the benefit's right for them. Our consultation specialists here talk about your potential case, evaluate how strong it is, help you determine the additional steps you need to take before moving forward, as well as answer any questions you have about this benefit. And as Kimberly already mentioned, we're going to talk about mental health issues and how that can potentially qualify you for disability retirement.
So today what we'll be covering is understanding disability retirement, qualifying for disability retirement, physical versus mental health conditions, common mental health conditions, and necessary medical documentation for federal disability retirement.
First, we'll talk about where disability retirement comes from. This is a benefit that's already built into your retirement system. However, it must be applied for and proven through an adjudication process. So it's adjudicated by OPM. Their medical specialists are going to determine whether or not you meet the qualifications for disability retirement, and we're going to go over those.
That's exactly right. So some of the benefits of the federal disability retirement include the monthly annuity that you receive, your ability to work in the private sector while on this benefit, the credible years of federal service that you'll still acquire while on this benefit, and then also maintaining your health and life insurance into retirement.
First, we'll discuss the monthly annuity. So it's the same for all FERS employees. The first year you're on the benefit, you're going to get 60% of your high 3 average salary. Every year after that, until the age 62, you're going to get 40% of your high 3. Now keep in mind, this is taxable income, and it may be subject to other deductions such as health and life insurance, as well as a survivor benefit, and if you elect those options.
Now, a lot of people are wondering what the high 3 is when calculating your annuity payment. So the high 3 average is going to be your highest consecutive 36 months of basic pay. The OPM will be the ones calculating this benefit. The agencies will give an estimate, which is going to be pretty close to work on those calculations for you, but your final numbers will come from the OPM. So as you can see on this chart, your high 3 average is 100% of however much your basic pay is. Year 1, you'll be receiving 60% of that high 3 average. You can see by the second block in the image. And then year 2 through age 62 is represented by the following two blocks where you'll be receiving 40% of your high 3 salary.
A common question we get is, can I work while on disability retirement? And you absolutely can. There are some limitations. You can work in the private sector and make up to 80% of your federal position salary while still getting your disability retirement payments on top of that. Most of our clients are able to start new careers post-retirement and live comfortably while still maintaining their nice federal employee benefits.
The other things you want to be aware of while working in the private sector is you do want to stay within your medical restrictions. So these are going to be the same restrictions that got you approved for the disability retirement. It's really important to stay within those restrictions. And then as Caitlin said, you can only earn up to 80% and it has to be a private sector position.
Here's a visual that shows your earning potential post-retirement, and I'll break it down a little bit. The first year on disability retirement, you can see that you'll be getting 60% of your high 3 average salary. Then, if you choose to work in the private sector, you can make up to 80% of your federal position salary. Combining both your annuity and the salary of your new position, you'll end up earning 40% more than you did while working in your federal position. Then after that first year, you'll see that decrease in your annuity where you'll receive 40% of your high 3. But if you're working in the private sector and making 80% of your old position salary, you will still be making 20% more than when you were working in the federal government.
And on top of working in the private sector, you can still earn those creditable years of service while on disability retirement. So these are the years accumulated while receiving this benefit. This is going to be added to your previously existing creditable years of service. So at the age 62, your years of service will be combined with the creditable years of service that you've earned on federal disability retirement. This will make a huge impact on your annuity when it recalculates at age 62.
Another great thing about the credible years of service is if you are a special provisions or 6C employee, you still get to build years of service until age 62 rather than your mandatory retirement age.
In addition, you are able to maintain your health and life insurance into retirement. Once you're approved for the federal disability retirement, that health and life insurance will continue even through your regular retirement once it's recalculated at age 62.
Here we're going to talk about what qualifies you for disability retirement. We'll go over how disability is defined by OPM and who is eligible for disability retirement.
So disability as defined by OPM is a physical or mental handicap, especially one that hinders or prevents a person from performing tasks of daily living, carrying out work or household responsibilities, or engaging in leisure and social activities. So any medical condition that prevents you from performing at least one of the essential functions of your federal position could be a qualifying medical condition.
So for example, if you have PTSD and it's causing issues with your concentration and focus at work, and this prevents you from doing at least one of your job duties, such as writing reports, supervisory duties, etc., then that could potentially qualify you for federal disability retirement.
So Caitlin, we get asked all the time if modified work counts as a reasonable accommodation.
So modified work doesn't count as an accommodation. These positions aren't protected. They also remove some of your essential duties as well. We'll go into this a little further in a few slides, but to be accommodated in OPM's eyes, they must find something that allows you to do the essential functions of your job.
And it's important to know that for the reassignment that it must be a vacant position that's within the same agency. It does have to be at the same pay, grade, and scale within your commuting area as well to qualify.
As we discussed before, to qualify for disability retirement, you only have to be unable to do one of the essential functions of your job due to your medical conditions. That is what occupational disability is. Some people confuse disability retirement and SSDI, and they think that they have to be totally disabled or they can't be gainfully employed to get this benefit. But that's not true. This benefit, you're proving that you're unable to perform your federal job, not any job.
Okay, now let's jump into the main reason that we're all here today. Can mental health conditions qualify you for federal disability retirement?
Yes, you can be approved for physical and mental conditions. You can be approved for just physical or just mental or a combination of both. Disability doesn't have to be just one condition, and many cases arise from multiple conditions. For example, you could have PTSD with depression or hypothyroidism, but OPM is going to look at all your conditions comprehensively. when they adjudicate your application.
So some common mental health conditions that we've seen are post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, and many, many more. It's important to note that the OPM doesn't have a specific list of what mental health conditions qualify you. That's going to be dependent on your case, your medical evidence, your file as a whole when they're making that determination. So, Caitlin, what makes mental health issues different?
Compared to physical conditions, it can be harder for OPM to make a determination based on mental health conditions. And mental health issues are often referred to as invisible disabilities since they may not have the obvious symptoms and restrictions like a physical condition. This is why you want to make sure you have substantial medical evidence to back up your claim.
That was some great information. Some other things to think about are that the mental health conditions are often pre-existing. So these existed prior to your entry in federal service. We do have to prove that these conditions have worsened while you are in your federal position. So, for example, if you have a existing VA disability rating for a mental health condition and that VA rating has increased during your federal service, that can help further prove that this has worsened.
It's important to know that you don't have to disclose your disability immediately. I've talked to plenty of people who are concerned that their supervisor or their agency doesn't know that they have a disability. That alone doesn't preclude you from applying for disability retirement, but when you request reasonable accommodations, which is required for disability retirement, your employer will be made aware of your disabilities.
So discussing reasonable accommodation a little bit further, this is any change in your job that would allow you to continue fully performing your essential functions. So in order to qualify, your agency needs to exhaust all reasonable accommodation options before you can be approved for the federal disability retirement. One thing to keep in mind, the OPM doesn't accept all accommodations as valid. And if you're offered an accommodation that allows you to perform some of your essential functions, but not all of your essential functions, then you can still potentially qualify for the federal disability retirement.
Mental health conditions can be difficult to accommodate. Some common things we've seen are telework, frequent breaks, modifications to one's work schedule, private workspaces, things like that. The next step after reasonable accommodation is going to be the reassignment process. If your reasonable accommodation request is denied, it's likely that your agency is going to look for a reassignment. Some people get nervous when they hear the word reassignment because they think that means that your agency can force you into another position. But there are some important things you'll need to know. A valid reassignment offer has to meet multiple criteria. It needs to be a vacant position in your same pay and grade within your commuting area for which you're qualified and within medical restrictions. You aren't required to accept a reassignment that doesn't meet these criteria.
Sometimes receiving a reassignment offer can be pretty confusing, which is why it's so important to have a legal representative to walk you through this process.
Now, the next important thing we'll talk about is the medical documentation you're going to need for your case. Kimberly, can you go into that a little bit more?
Absolutely. So the first thing is it's important to know who can provide that medical documentation. The OPM will accept documentation from any and all providers for mental health, but the specialists such as the therapists, social workers, psychiatrists, those are going to be the most beneficial as they have the specific insight to how that condition can affect your job, your work tasks, and the essential functions of your job.
Since mental illness, like we talked about, may not be immediately apparent to outsiders, you want to make sure you can show OPM that you have a diagnosed condition you're actively treating for. OPM will be looking for tangible medical evidence that you have a mental health issue that you've been working on with a professional. You can prove your service deficiencies by using this information given from your medical provider, such as supportive letters from your doctor or notes that show hospital visits. If you have useful agency documentation like poor performance evaluations or a proposal for removal, you will want to use your medical evidence to prove how this caused your service deficiencies.
So as you can see, there's a lot of moving parts that go into filing for federal disability retirement, which is why we're here to help.
We really want to relieve as much stress as possible on our clients. We understand that when you have a mental health issue, this process can be overwhelming. A significant percentage of our clients suffer from mental health issues, so we know what OPM is looking for in those cases, and we're happy to advocate for our clients who are struggling. We've helped thousands of clients. We have a 100% money-back promise, so we're very confident in what we do, and we know that we can help you.
Since we've discussed a lot of important information today, let's go ahead and summarize a couple of the key points that I want you to take away. Your mental health conditions don't have to have happened at work. They just have to affect you performing one of your essential functions. The federal disability retirement is a great way to secure your monthly income. Quick reminder, you can remain working in the private sector within your medical restrictions with that 80% earning cap. A huge benefit to the federal disability retirement is you get to maintain your health and life insurance. And you can be approved for a mental health condition with the correct medical documentation that is imperative to win your case for federal disability retirement. So we're going to go ahead and stick around for a few more minutes to answer some of your questions. Feel free to put them in the chat for us to answer. Feel free to reach out to our office directly to answer any questions or schedule a consultation. Thank you for joining us today. And Caitlin, thank you for going through this important information with me today.
I had a great time, and I look forward to speaking with some of you all during our consultation.
All right, thank you. And back to you, Nick.
Hey, thanks, Caitlin and Kimberly. Great job, guys. I know that's a lot of information for all of you listening, but hopefully you can see that there is hope in this benefit for you if you have a mental health condition that can qualify you. Like I said, we covered a lot of them here, but we didn't give you an exhaustive list by any means. So that's why we would encourage you to give our office a call, schedule a free consultation so that you can see all of your options, how those can work together to benefit you moving into the future and help you find that secure income that can let you retire from your position now and find that security, that financial security, so you are not living under this constant pressure and stress, struggling with whatever mental health issue that you might have. Like I said before, you are not alone in this. This is a common struggle, and people have found great benefit through federal disability retirement. So make sure that you're taking the steps and pursuing this and understanding it more. We're going to leave the chat box open here for about another 10 minutes where you can ask questions. But like I said, if we can't get to you, talk to our office. Let's get you in here so that you can learn more about your situation and also just learn more about us. And hopefully you'll see that you'd like working with us, and we can just show you how we can, take the weight off your shoulders and take some of that pressure off so that you can find yourself in a better situation. We've also got lots of resources just like this webinar on our website under the resources tab, as well as our YouTube channel, where we've got tons and tons of videos just like this that we are always putting out. So make sure you're looking there to get even more educational resources. We thank you for being here today, taking the time to be with us. We put these webinars on just about every 2 weeks. So make sure you're looking out for the next one. And we look forward to seeing you there. So like I said, we'll be open here for about another 10 minutes, and then we will close it out. So we look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks.